It's that time. Welcome to Roadmap, how to take 3 listings a week until you're ready for more. Each week, we interview a great agent consistently taking several listings each month. And we have an exciting guest today. We encourage you to take notes and apply as much of their knowledge as quickly as you can, and then use the copycat principle. If you're watching on Vulcan 7 or the Lead Gen Facebook group, welcome. We're glad to have you here. Let me introduce my co-host from San Diego, Carly Hathaway. That's carlyhathaway.com. Hi, Carly. How's the real estate business?
Hi, Ron. Hi, everybody. Real estate is great, as always. Couldn't ask for a better place to live than Southern California.
I know. Yes, indeed. It's nice and warm there. We hit, we were weren't we -7 yesterday here, I believe. And as you can see, it's a beautiful sunny day here today. Before I introduce our guest today, I want to remind everyone that we're also simulcasting the show on the private Lead Gen Facebook group on Facebook. They have over 52,000 members now, so we have a large audience there today as well. And we'll be pausing for a commercial message during the show as a thank you to the Lead Gen folks. Let's welcome our guest today from Atlanta, Georgia, and Florida, and Ohio. We'll explain. Let me welcome Kim Ackerman. Welcome, Kim.
Why, thank you, Ren.
How is beautiful Buckhead today?
You know, Buckhead is very chilly today. That's why I'm dressed in the layers I am. It was
oh my gosh, is it down?
43 degrees this morning.
43, oh my gosh.
20.
Bring that heat wave up here.
20. It was 23 this morning. It's 43 now.
Oh, good Lord. In Atlanta.
In Atlanta.
Those peaches are freezing.
Yeah.
Kind of fun to drive through Georgia. You see those signs that says, look, honey, peaches. Always crack me up. So we have Kim on here, and what's interesting is you sold in Cincinnati and surrounds, Northern Kentucky, and for many years. Also started selling in Florida, going back and forth. And you recently moved to Atlanta.
Correct.
And what we're going to demonstrate here is you can move into a city, know no one, never became familiar with the neighborhoods, and you can immediately have a burst of business. And Kim's going to outline how that works a little bit, because for a lot of people, they're like, well, I don't know anybody, so I don't think I'm going to sell much. Or I don't know the area, so I don't think I'm going to sell much. Yet that hasn't gotten in your way, has it?
No, not at all.
Good. So give us a little background. How long have you been selling real estate?
I have been licensed for 23 years.
You've been licensed for 23 years. Okay, so this is what they call unconscious competence. It just moves through you.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
That is.
And how long have you been living in Atlanta and working in Atlanta?
I have only been here since July.
Since July, and so how many listings are you able to take in a month?
My goal is to take 10 a month.
Okay, and how's it going this month so far?
I am halfway there. I have 5.
You have 5 already.
I have 5.
Okay,
Yeah.
and so how can you, not knowing the area and not knowing anybody there that needs to buy or sell, how can you do that? How do you do that?
What I do is every morning is that get into the office, role play first thing, and then get on the phones. I'm in a Google Hangout group, and I have 7 people, and a business associate of mine has 8 in her group. We have to be on the phones by 8:30 in the morning, and we prospect nonstop from 8:30 to 11:30.
And who are you prospecting to?
Primarily to expireds and for sale by owners.
Okay, and that seems to be working for you. It sounds like it's working very, very well.
It does. And what was interesting is in Cincinnati, 75% of my business came from my sphere of influence. Repeat customers, come list me kind of calls. So when I came to Atlanta, I don't have a sphere of influence yet. So my only recourse was to get on the phones, call expireds.
Is your
I was going to say, you're not going to have.
Go ahead.
You're not going to have much sphere of influence moving to a new town. You're starting fresh all the way over, right?
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay, I like it. And so talk to me more about the Google Hangouts. How does that help you stay on the phones? How does it motivate you daily?
Well, see, you start off because you chip in money, okay, for accountability. You chip in money, And if you show up, you cannot be 5 minutes late because then you get dinged $50. Okay. And that's just in one group. But anyway, if you don't show up at all, you get fined even more. But it does make it fun because then you're sitting there prospecting. And I've got friends all across the US that are prospecting with me. You can hear the different dialects. I mean, we got people from New Jersey. So we've got them in California. We've got them all over the place.
Yeah.
So yesterday I did something for the first time ever. I did what they call Money Mondays. So we started at 8 a.m. and we finished at 8 p.m. And our goal was to hit 100 contacts.
Oh my gosh.
Holy crap.
And did you meet your goal?
I did not talk to 100 people, but I talked to a lot. Yeah.
Your voice sounds great considering all those calls.
Yeah. Well, I'm an
That's because she's rich. That's because she's rich, Carly. She's rich.
No, but but we make, you know what the Google Hangouts does, it almost makes like a game of it. So you're not just prospecting by yourself. You can actually hear the other plate. You cannot put yourself on mute. You can't be doing email. You cannot do admin. You cannot do buyer calls. It is strictly 100% prospecting for new business calls.
I love that. And I bet you get little takeaways and tidbits from people's responses hearing them.
Oh, you do. You do.
Yeah.
So that's been, and that's new for me. And I'm trying different things since I'm in Atlanta, but you know what, it's working. It's working.
Mm-hmm. And are you sticking to scripts when you're calling these expireds?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I was critiqued yesterday that, I don't know, someday last week that I was not adhering to the script strictly enough. I'm like, oh, okay.
And well, what's interesting is you guys are all probably using the same scripts, right? Everyone in the Google Hangouts? That's
correct. We are.
Mm-hmm. So then you can catch each other and help each other and see how you navigate.
Yeah. That's very true. Yeah. A gal who just joined us, she's in California, was on yesterday for the first time and got so excited about the appointment. And she goes, but I forgot to tell him what time to be in the office. I'm like, oh, just call him back. And she goes, oh, just call him back. Yeah.
That's great.
It does.
Yeah. And are you guys calling for sale by owners as well?
Yes, they are in the data. I subscribe to Vulcan 7. They're in my database.
Good deal.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. So, I mean, now to be fair, you've got somebody helping you make calls. Is Bonsai there right now?
Yes, he is. He's on the couch.
He's on the couch.
I've got a four-legged friend. Yeah, he goes to the office.
Yeah, and the reason I know that is Bonsai used to come in and help her make calls. Now, the only thing he got was Snoopy's doghouse, but
yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
No, he goes to the office with me about 5 days a week in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously, accountability is a vital component.
Right. That is very true.
I mean,
and so people are different, with accountability. I like high accountability. I tend to, I think the more painful it is monetarily, the more motivated I am. So I like to put high stakes on my accountability.
So why is that? So, the more painful it is, the more motivated you are.
Well, like 1 month, for example, we were concentrating on working on our sphere of influence. And even though my sphere of influence, is primarily in Ohio, we had to make 5 sphere of influence calls a day. And if we didn't, we were charged $5,000. We had to write the check out in advance. It was not up for discussion. It was just cashed. Now, the check was made out to the Andrea Bocelli Foundation.
Okay.
Nice.
Good cause. But again, it wasn't up for discussion. It wasn't like, oh, gee, did you? No. So the first 5 calls I made every single morning was sphere of influence. And you have to remember too, is that I haven't publicized, well, I guess I have now, that I don't live in Cincinnati. I still get, I was at the Mike Ferry event last week and it was come list me and write a contract on this house. I'd like to buy it. Okay.
So on a regular basis, and the good thing you're in Atlanta, clearly,
right.
You'll hop a plane, fly up, sign a listing contract, help a buyer, and fly back. Is that true?
That is true. I do it in the same day often. Yeah.
All right. So that's segueing into another part because you're not going to do that for a $120,000 house. One of the things that's fun about Kim is she doesn't sell $120,000 houses. She can't even see them. She can't even see them. They're like, what house? I don't see a house. But so they have to be big enough for her to see. So typically, for what I've always enjoyed, you've worked the higher end. And I don't know that it's any other reason other than you have more fun in that and have a higher comfort level. So somebody's watching this right now and they're working whatever price range they're working. They would love to have a comfort level up here, but the voice in the head says, oh, if I go talk to those people, I'll get their butler or whatever. How do you help encourage people in that price to get comfortable with that?
I shared because I actually mentor 2 people in the office, 2 people that have just, they're licensed for less than 2 years. And their question to me is always, well, how do I get to that price point? And I just said, well, start off at a $300,000 price point, because it's the person that sells the 150 house that's buying the 300. And I said, but get comfortable with the 300. And then you can easily bump it up to 450, 6, 8, or $1 million.
It's just more carpet and paint, isn't it? And maybe a wine cellar here and there.
It is. And you know what? I kid with people. I say they put their pants on one leg at a time. And I said, the good news is, but also too, the higher you go up, they don't ask as many questions because they've done the transaction multiple times.
Yeah. I feel like I've always noticed that the higher the price, the easier it is.
It is. I would agree.
I've noticed that too. They seem to be a lot more chill, they're not as uptight. It's a lot more relaxed process.
Yes. I had a gentleman one time say to me, cut the crap, give me the contract, let me sign it. Okay, here you go.
Yeah.
The only thing is you can't drive up in a Chevrolet. That's
yeah.
You know what? And I would agree with you there. I would agree with you there. And if you think that they're not checking out your car, you're mistaken. You're mistaken.
Yeah, they were. I remember not having one up to par way back. And I know I didn't get the listing for that reason, but I got it the next time around.
There you go. Yeah.
So you know what I wanted to get into a little bit is listing appointments. Obviously, you probably are a master at the listing appointment presentation. But I feel like, newer agents or even agents have been in the business a couple years, the hang up is always price, right? Because a lot of times when you go at an expired listing appointment, it was overpriced.
Right, so that's correct.
What's your best strategy to overcome that they're just overpriced?
Well, what I find is twofold. I find that, yes, they can be overpriced. And a lot of times they're overpriced because the agent that took the listing previously bought the listing. They told the seller exactly what they wanted to hear.
Yeah.
And I'm very direct with sellers. And I just say to them, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I can give you a list of a dozen people that will tell you what you want to hear. It was just like yesterday. I went on a listing appointment and 36 homes had sold in the neighborhood, 36 in the past 6 months. And they're convinced it was the time of year. And I'm like, no, 36 sold in the past 6 months. You didn't even get an offer on your house. I mean, it was clearly that they were overpriced. Mm-hmm. So you can supply the data, say, here are the comparables, also too is we send the comparables over in advance. So we send out an email after communicating with them, send them an email with our bios. And then we immediately follow up with very limited marketing material. They don't want to look at a book, okay? But we send over the marketing material samples, and then we send over CMA, and we say, let's talk about the comparables. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a great strategy. And I think just educating people and almost letting sometimes them make their own decision,
right,
will also help.
It helps.
Yeah, and those comps ahead of time, when you look at sending comparables a day ahead, now you have to be careful how you do it to get that to work. But if they get those 24 hours ahead, because they're going through an interesting process. First thing is denial.
Right.
What? 850, and they think it's worth 1.1, and then anger.
Yep.
And then they look through it a little bit more like, oh, there's only sold 735. And then finally acceptance. Then you show up. Otherwise, you walk in, spring that on them. They, again, denial, anger, and acceptance, but 24 hours later, you're gone. And Coldwell Banker is now sitting in front of them.
Yeah.
You're out of luck.
And they get the signature and you don't. Right.
You just set up the other agents.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But again, you're right. But also, too, is that, and I'm in a new market. So I have to study the market intensely. You know, I have to fake it till I make it. So,
yeah.
Well, you're faking it very well. It's working very well, and I think a lot of people will be envious because based on your numbers, and there's some beautiful price points that you work because you because of your vision problem with smaller houses. Yeah, you know, it's a happy life. Kim goes on some of the greatest vacations and some of the most amazing events, and you know, if you followed her around, you would have an exciting life because she has exciting.
I do love to travel. I do love to travel.
And adventure. I mean, talk about some fun things.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember many of the stories. They're good.
Good for you.
Good
Is that what goes into your mindset of staying on the phone for 2-3 hours every morning? Is your next vacation or your next adventure?
Yeah. As an example, we were just I had taken my daughters. They wanted their Christmas gift to go to Whistler, Canada.
Nice.
They wanted to go skiing. Yeah. And so on the last day, it was kind of raining. And how it was raining at 30 degrees, I'm not quite sure, but it was raining. Anyway, and they're like, we want to go to the slopes. I'm like, go ahead and go. And they're like, oh, you're going to be sitting at your computer next week and you're going to be, wishing you were on the slopes. And I said, no, I'm going to be sitting there saying, how many calls do I have to make before I can get back there?
Yeah, I like that.
It's a numbers game. It strictly is a numbers game. You go, it'll cost me one transaction to get back to Whistler, stay where I want, fly first class, do what I want.
All right, so watch it, folks. I know she says it's a numbers game, but do you all notice the other ingredient? Energy and enthusiasm. Yes. Energy and enthusiasm.
Yeah, I don't lack that. That's
true. It. She's got an abundance of that.
And you don't want me on coffee, right?
And you've got to have both of those elements, and that seems to work. You know, I appreciate this. This has been exciting, and this has been very, very helpful for a lot of people. So I appreciate you coming on our show today, and we'd like to have you back again. And one last question. This is a little survey question. We kind of get around to asking it with most of the people on our show. Is, you know, we're not in the business here of promoting coaching, but we've noticed that everybody on our shows is 99.9999% of them. I think we had one or none and that wasn't involved in coaching. Are you our first one? Or are you involved in any kind of coaching?
Absolutely. When I was introduced to coaching when I joined in Cincinnati, when I joined Keller Williams. And I'll never forget, we went and shadowed Bernie Gallerini. And Bernie asked this very vital question. He goes, how many transactions did you do last year? I go, I don't know. I can tell you what I made. And he goes, no, that's not what I asked. How many transactions did you do? I'm like, I got to go back to the office. I don't know. So anyway, and he says, you got to call me tomorrow and tell me how many it was. So I called him back and I told him how many it was. He said, so what did you do with the rest of your time? And I'm like, oh.
Yikes.
When I got involved with business coaching, it actually tripled my production.
Nice. Good. Well, and that's what a coach will do. And who are you coaching with?
I have a Mike Ferry coach.
Oh, okay. You have a Mike Ferry coach. Wonderful.
Got a Mike Ferry coach. So
that's great. Good.
So, love it.
So it's nice. And is this a weekly call, a monthly call? Is that
I do a weekly call with that business coach. And then I also participate with Mike Ferry. He has two other programs. One is called Think Big, which has been a tremendous help. Okay.
Holy cow. You have to be doing a lot of production to be in that group.
Yeah. But, they invited me. I'm like, okay. Anyway, and then I have.
No, I'm glad you're in it.
Yeah. I have.
And you're doing a lot lot of production.
So, not as much as I want. It'll get there. This is going to be a great year.
You don't have your own jet yet. Okay, I get it.
Yeah. But anyway, besides that, then I also do mornings with Mike on Monday mornings. So there's a group call where we call in and.
Okay. So you're surrounded with accountability and Google Hangouts too. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Sounds like you're going to have an amazing year. It sounds like
it is. It's going to be. I'm really, really looking forward to it.
Good for you.
Good. We'll check back with you. I want to read this. If you're watching on Vulcan 7 and you want to get involved with the Lead Gen Facebook group who is simulcasting the show, go to facebook.com/groups/got-objections. And thank Aaron Wittenstein, who runs that. He has a program called trajectorynow.com. And I want to give you Kim Ackerman's secret. After she's done making all the calls and she and Bonsai are going to go out for a walk, she actually goes and gets out some delicious Grater's mint chocolate chip. It's the one for listings. This is the one you want for listing property. If all the other flavors are great, but those are for working with buyers. If the listing doesn't sell right away, dig a hole in the front yard, bury it upside down, and it will sell just like that. I want to thank everybody for being here. And
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kim. And hey, next time I'm in Atlanta, I'd love to come shadow you if I could.
Hey, that'd be great.
Awesome.
I'll come your way to California.
Yeah, come out here. We'll go to the beach.
good deal. See everybody next week.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.